Okay, so Richard, talking about, as we go through life, we kind of go through the timeline of life, right? I know for me, I'm probably about halfway through my timeline. The average these days is they say people live, let's say, 100 years, right? So, you go through life, you live the first couple decades as a child, and then you hit a certain point, and then you go through the rest of your life. So contextually, I'm about halfway through down my timeline, right? And everything I've done in my life up until now has led me to where I am now. And it's going to allow me, based on the wonderful human that I've become, to do what must be done for my future, as I trust that. Right? You have this concept. It's like a I think you said tripartite or something. Like, tell me more about that. What's your thought in that context?
Yeah, based on the study with human design, it explains, that how we operate today as humans is we live this tripartite life. There are three parts to our lives, and um, the first 30 years of our lives, we which is relates to a Saturn uh, influence. Um, we live in this place where it's objective. We see life in an objective way. We're growing up. We've been influenced by our parents and our schools and so on. And we get to about 30, and which is the Saturn return, you know, around 29, 30. And we get to that place and we start stepping into, from 30 on, into the second phase, which is primarily the beginning of the maturing stage. The first 30 years is, we live this infants and adolescence and banging around and trying to figure out what's going on and learning this and learning that. And we get to the second phase from 30 on, from about 30 to 50. And this is where we start looking at life in a more subjective way, where we start looking at what worked, what didn't work, to eliminate those things that didn't work in our lives and understand ourselves better in spirituality or some esoteric teachings or all of the different studies that's out there that come into our lives so that we can, discover ourselves. It's sort of like the hero's journey type of thing. And we get to around between 38 and 42 or so. This is that stage of maturity. We kind of reach this maturity place. You just said it, it's the midlife crisis type of thing. We come to that place and everything is like, okay, what's going on? We hit this sort of a place where it's kind of like crisis. That's no wonder they call it, midlife crisis. But then we continue. If we're fortunate to be around the right places, the right people, and having the right kind of information to help us mature in a way that we get to that 50th stage where we now entering into the flowering, basically the coming into that place where the maturity of, like, here we are. We had that half line marker of stepping into this place. Now we begin this new phase of, like, a role model in life. It's a role model to really, all the things that we've learned, we've reached this place where we can now consider ourselves adults,
And by
and
the way,
have
is
something.
this consistent with everybody? I mean, it's a pretty good chunk, and as I listen to it and I reflect on my time, it's like, okay, yeah, 30 years, 50 years, and everything. Is it consistent? How does it vary? I mean, is it consistent with everybody, or does it vary, or is it not applicable to some people?
So it's consistent with our human nature. It's with all of us, but it depends on how we've been raised, where we are, and all of these various things. It's Some of us arrive at that place. Some people, I've met some people in their mature age, and they still behave like children.
Hmm.
So it really depends. It depends on how we've come into it. Many people just are not as fortunate. You know, and some are. Many are.
And I
So
think I think as I kind of dovetail off the context, I think the imperative is to back to awareness, right? One of the things that's very resonant with all of our conversations is self-awareness, right?
mhm.
I mean, realize that I'm a person on the planet to, purpose driven. I'm here to do something, right? And maybe I won't know what that is until I pass and transition on to the next life or whatever, right? But I think it's our responsibility as individual humans is to be able to know where we are, how old we are, how mature we are, as we get into those zones of maturity as you go through life, and whether it be the three parts of life, and apply ourselves as effectively as possible to those parts, right? And right now, all we've got is the moment, right? All I've got is the now. I can't live in the past, right? I can't think, oh my God, I should have done that differently. Hey, everything I've done has made me who I am now, and that's a wonderful thing. So, and then of course the future, oh God, I got to fear the future, and who knows what's going to happen with the pandemic? No, it's not about that. It's about trusting myself, and wherever I am in the part of life or a phase of life, is to realize that I'm here now in the time that is to do what I'm meant to do here in the best way I can do it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right on. So yeah, I mean, we learn from these experiences and challenges and so on that we've had in the past. From decisions that we've made that may not have been the highest decisions, but we can learn and understand. From it, there's something to learn from it. And if we are fortunate enough to really have the eyes and ears to really see and understand from those experiences, yeah, we can make better choices as we move along.
Love
And
it.
yeah,
So
that's
good. We'll actually pause at this point and reflect. And one of the things I like to do is just kind of cut up these vignettes so we can actually stop and pause and allow
yeah,
everybody to reflect on their condition. What
yeah,
decisions have we made? What decisions have you made? And what decisions are you making today to be able to make today as good as it can be? So
absolutely.
cool. All right. Talk to you next
One
time.
last thing,
Oh, one more.
one
Okay,
last
go.
thing I want to is I really resonate with the last thing you said in terms of trusting yourself, because that's really a key to it. For me, that was one of the biggest revelations I've had. Through this whole COVID, and it's been coming on before that, but really when I had this experience of looking back and seeing all of the the cycles of same things that I've been doing that was not maybe not the best, same sort of in relationships and other decisions that I've been making in my life, it was all based around myself not trusting myself, not trusting myself. And so that's really a big thing. And I hear that a lot in people as well. And I share my story about that, and it seems to really resonate with people as well. So
So let,
self-trust is a
so
very
let's get
important.
into your story next time. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
yours too.
All right. Till next time. Okay.
All righty. Thank